I bet you've heard of Ricoh. Ricoh the photocopiers, yeah? Well, they did more than just photocopiers. Whoa, my son seems to be having a bit of a crisis outside, but we'll let my wife worry about that. Ricoh, the photocopier people, were also involved in cameras and optics for way back when, almost, not quite 100 years, but close to it anyway. But today, we're focusing on a specific camera lens that Ricoh produced, and it was called the Rikenon 55mm 1.4 legendary. So stay tuned. Give me a sec. We'll be right back, and we'll dive right into this lens and find out why it's so special.
Well, isn't that special?
All right, be back in a sec.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott. All right, welcome to this week's episode. A little different than some of the past ones where we dove into a number of different vintage lenses. This time I'm going to focus on a specific vintage lens. And the reason I do so is twofold. One, I only have one of them, as opposed to my others when I was doing Carl Zeiss or Nikon or Canon or any of the others. I have multiples. But this one I only have one. And, that may seem like a sad thing, but it's not really, because this is probably the best one that they produced. And the name of it you've heard of before, is Ricoh. Ricoh copiers, Ricoh office supplies, Ricoh printers, Ricoh, a number of different things. But they also produced lenses, and this is called the Rikenon 55mm 1.4, and it is it's got quite a great reputation. It's right up there as far as quality goes and everything else, along with the Takamars, the legendary Takamars. But the Rikenon here is by some people actually rumored to be even better than a Takamar.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
But nowhere near the cost of you try to buy one on eBay, and these ones are not that expensive compared to the tax. But anyway, so let's talk a little bit about the this Rikenon here, and as usual, I will go through photo examples, as well as using my son as a that's him here. My son as a model, and give you some samples of him doing his best to model for you for the very low cost of free, and we'll go from there. But let me also give you a little bit of history of Ricoh, the company that produced these. So. Let me preface that too, that Ricoh actually did not make this lens. It was produced by Tomioka Optical in Japan, and they produced a lot of great lenses. So their manufacturing expertise and prowess is goes beyond its reputation. So let's talk about a little bit about Ricoh for a second. They started off as Rikenon. This was the owner of the company. Back in 1917, they created chemicals. They were in the industry of industrial chemical manufacturing. And several years later, up into the 1930s, they started getting involved in the photographic paper. And so in 1936, they produced their own photographic paper, changed the name of the company to reflect that. In 1937, they were so successful at this, they decided to venture off into the world of optics and cameras. And they purchased a company called Asahi Busan. No relation to the Asahi Kogaku who produced Pentax and whatnot. But this Asahi Busan created a camera line called Olympic. Not Olympus, but Olympic cameras. And so they renamed themselves Asahi Kogaku Kogyo. It's the name of the company. And it was that way for many decades, all the way up till 1963 when they decided to call themselves Ricoh. R-I-C-O-H. As I said, you can go to any photocopy room or whatnot, or see your printers, and there's a lot of Ricoh equipment out there. But anyway, they produced a number of really great cameras back in the day, in the 1960s and 70s. And that was when the Rikenon was produced. And there were many other focal lengths out there, but this was the one that really outshone the rest of them.
Here it is. It's an auto Rikenon. It's a 55mm f1.4.
As far as opinion goes, anyway, all this stuff is subjective. A lot of people may argue that some of their other lenses, like the 55 1.2, was a better lens. But the 1.4 is the one that has the the best reputation as far as photographers go. So from 1964, they began producing these all the way up to 1976. And in 1967 through 76, the company produced these in a M42 mount, which is why my adapter here, again, the lens is only this big. It's almost, almost nearly half of it is adapter. So an M42 to NEX to go on my Sony A7R II here, which is what I'm going to use to give you some sample photos. So, again, this was produced until 1976 in a M42 mount, to which at that point they switched to a K mount, which is the Pentax mount. So it's 6 elements in 5 groups. There's 6 aperture blades. The close focus is 1/2 meter, and it's reputation is that even wide open, it's fairly sharp. The colors are vivid, very contrasty, low chromatic aberrations, low barrel distortion. It's got just an all-around great reputation. For those who've zipped through the photography YouTube channels, you've no doubt heard of the Angry Photographer, Mr. Ken. Well, he chose the best M42 mount lens / producer of find out of focus background bokeh as the Rikenon 50mm f2. But then he came out with another video, which you could easily find, that states that he chose the Rikenon 55 1.4 as the champion of the bokeh, the bubble bokeh, so to speak.
After a lot of testing, I wanted to bring you the lens that actually has the best overall image. Not only rendition, color saturation, but specifically bokeh. This has better sharpness and better bubble bokeh than a $1,500 Meyer Optic Trioplan. Take my best bokeh lenses and put them head to head, and this is the definite winner.
So, I'm gonna post some samples of that too, to kind of either back up his claim or refute his claim. Either way, so this is, again, this is the review. Well, not really a review. This is just an introduction to the Auto Rikenon 55 1.4. So let me give you a shot of the of my typical SOP, which is to first remove my auto top core 50 1.8, which will be starring in another video where I'll be talking about my RE auto top core collection that I have. Those are also super excellent lenses, but today we're focused on the Auto Rikenon here. So let me give you a shot of the Canon M50 that's filming this right now, and I usually focus in on the end of the barrel of my 15 to 45 little kit lens. So let me give you a shot of that. Remember, these are manual focus, so you zip in. Wait, let me make sure. Yeah, I'm at 1.4. Let me make sure I'm wide open, which this is, and it's very sharp. And 1, 2, 3. And you'll also see the out of focus background of my my whiteboard and my my Christmas stockings and my bookshelf and everything behind it. So again, this is the lens that again has a great reputation. A lot of people are after it. And stay tuned for also some shots of Dylan taken with this lens. So. So, hopefully it's piqued some interest in it for you, and, I highly recommend this lens. It's an excellent piece of glass. It's a great, it's built, as the old saying goes, it's built like a tank. The focus ring is smooth. The blades don't stick. It's, my model's a little beat up. I have a broken manual auto button. My filter threads are a little dinged on the inside. But then again, that's all just cosmetic stuff on the outside, as long as the optics rock. You got yourself a piece of gold. So I highly recommend picking this up. You could probably get it on eBay anywhere from $40 to $60 maybe. It may be higher at this point. I'm just talking about what I paid for it. So I'll post up here a price for you as of today, and hopefully that'll help you with your decision to get one. So remember, this is Modesty Photography. I'm here to introduce you to some options when it comes to budget photography, or whether you're just new to photography and you've had your camera on auto the whole time and you're using the kit lens. So many great options out there, especially if you have a mirrorless camera and an adapter. You can load up, my collection here is 60 plus vintage lenses that all have their own little characteristics, their own claims to fame and everything else that is just very different than the clinical surgical lenses that they produce today, which cost thousands of dollars. So $40 to $60, that's right down my street.
And get it off my fucking street!
Anyway, so this is Modesty Photography. This was Camera Talk with Dr. Scott. And remember, please subscribe. Hit that like button. And remember, as always, you belong here. So we'll see you next week with another episode of Camera Talk. So stay safe out there. Don't touch your face. Wear your mask.
Would you like to see my mask?
And keep shooting.
Stop it. Oh, what the fuck's happening? Oh, man. Man.
Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face.
Why the fuck you do that?
I'm talking with a camera. All right, we'll see you. Have a good week.
Here I am,